Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Tuesday to you and everybody watching at home. Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios. My name is Vinnie, Parise here with Shorts Guy as we get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Welcome to everybody watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. I hope each and every one of you are having a wonderful day. Shorts Guy, how we doing?
Doing good. How you doing, Vinny?
Doing really, really good. It's been a great day. You know, I've kind of missed the Devils. I know it's only been since Sunday since they played and they had back-to-back. But it's like one of those things, like in a season like this, when they go a day without playing, by that next game day, I'm like, oh, here we go. This is fun. They're taking on the Lightning, and it's a meaningful game. I don't believe they've played the Lightning at all this season, which is wild to make it to March 14th, a couple days away from St. Patrick's Day without playing an Eastern Conference. I would understand if it's like the first time playing the Winnipeg Jets or something, but like the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's weird, but they're going to see a bunch of them. It's like a little mini playoff series here over the next week. You got them 3 times in 4 games. So what are you looking forward to most as we get ready for this huge tilt?
Yeah, it's like a little 3-game playoff series. You know, Tampa Bay, for the troubles they've had recently, they're still the cream of the crop of the NHL, and you've got a team that's just been unstoppable the last couple seasons, backed up by a goaltender that's been almost perfect. Damn near perfect, and just a shutdown type of goaltender. So it's a really good test for these Devils because this is the type of opponent you're going to see in the playoffs, just kind of like that Toronto game last week. You know, Toronto's a potential playoff matchup. Tampa Bay's a potential playoff matchup, you know, after you get through that first round. So it's really good to see these games right for playoff time because it really is going to test the mettle of what these kids have and what they're able to do.
I love when the Devils play games against teams like the Tampa Bay Lightning, and even though they haven't been quite as dominant this year as maybe years past, it kind of does remind me of last year a little bit. They did kind of fly under the radar a little bit last year too in the regular season, and then they pushed Toronto to Game 7 after being down 3-2, and they won the series and then made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final before dropping to the Colorado Avalanche. And I'm a believer that the series would have at least been much more interesting had Braden Point not been hurt. This Tampa Bay Lightning team is exactly what every team in the NHL wants to be. They have a Hall of Famer at every single position. They have a Hall of Fame centerman, Steven Stamkos, if he retired today, in my opinion, 500 goals, multiple cups, gold medal, World Cup. Also, I don't know. He might not have a gold medal. He was injured. But either way,
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, he was injured in Sochi, and he was too young in Vancouver. But still, he's an elite player going to the Hall of Fame. Kucherov, same thing. Vasilevsky, you know, he might be getting close to like the Mount Rushmore of NHL goalies all time. People aren't ready for that conversation, but we're getting there. And then Victor Hedman has just been one of the more perfect defensemen in the NHL for the last 10 years. But there's going to be no Stamkos tonight. Advantage Devils.
Yeah, well, my lovely internet brought to you by James Nolan dropped off right as you were talking about Victor Hedman. So I'm just going to assume you kept talking about him at the defensive at the defensive end. And let us not forget Tampa Bay's most important player, cap circumvention over the last couple seasons to win them Stanley Cups.
Absolutely. Everyone will forever remember the absolute fleece. I believe Brisebois was their GM by the time the whole Kucherov thing happened. Yzerman was already in Detroit by then. But what I said when your internet lagged, and your internet lagged so perfectly where you came back right when I was done, and I wasn't
I noticed
directly at you, and so I didn't realize you were gone. But I said Stamkos is out tonight, which is, you know, that's huge for the Devils to not have a, you know, potential 40-goal, 100-point man in the lineup for Tampa Bay. They got plenty of depth surrounding him, but also Andre Palat, first time playing his old team. 2 big storylines coming into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where anytime that Tampa's without Stamkos, it's, you know, it's a down night for them because he's just been such a constant, but they're also, you know, have gotten used to playing without him because of his injuries over the last couple seasons too. So, you know, they've been really great with him and they've been really great without him. So he's one of those players that if he does go missing, I have no doubt in my mind, kind of like tonight, that Tampa can just kind of move on because they've got such a great lineup and they've got so much depth that he'll be missed, but it's not like there won't be a hole in their lineup at all.
And for the last couple games, we've seen different people stepping up, right? On Sunday against the Carolina Hurricanes, it was a lot of Jack Hughes. Okay, and Timo Meier leads the team in like scoring chances and shots on goal since coming over. He's just got a 5% shooting percentage with the Devils. So it's been a rough go in terms of like his production. Other than he does have a goal, and the shootout goal. I've loved Timo Meier's game. Once the luck kind of creeps back in his favor again, I do see him being like that Timo Meier that we know they traded for. He's a great player, not even slightly worried about him. But Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt carried the load. And then a couple games before that, it was a lot of Nico Hischier and Dawson Mercer. If this team really continues to put it together like this, I don't see a reason they can't make a run in the playoffs. But, as at least at minimum, you can show it here tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning, your depth.
Yeah, and kind of how you described it, where Jack and them showed up the other night, and Nico was showing up a couple nights before. When part of the team is having a down night, someone else is stepping up to put that scoring together, which is what you want, because not everyone is going to be clicking every single night on the same night at the same time. So to be able to have that depth at scoring, to be able to have those guys that can chip in when the top guys are down. I mean, hell, Eric Holla had 3 goals in the last couple games. Who would have saw that coming? But before last week, it speaks nothing but great possibilities for this team doing a strong run through the playoffs if they keep performing this level, because that's what you're going to need. I mean, let's look at Lazar, who's going to be in the lineup for the first time. I think it's his only playoff goal. It's a series clinching goal in overtime. That's the type of thing that you need in the playoffs, and those are the types of guys that you need just to show up at the right time at the right moment. If we have all these, if we have players that are showing up when the others aren't, that speaks volumes for what this team is going to be, capable of doing going forward.
Absolutely. And a lot of the things that have been going on with this team have revolved around their goaltending situation.
Oh, man.
It's been Akira Schmid and Vitek Vanacek, kind of flipping back and forth the last couple weeks, and people were worried about Vitek Vanacek. And there were people saying, start Vitek against the weaker Montreal team, use Schmid, this rookie or second-year player, however you look at him, against this great Carolina Hurricanes team. And make no mistake about it, the Carolina Hurricanes are a great team, even without
they are.
And Vitek comes in and shuts them out. And it's like,
I know.
okay,
he
back.
was on a tear.
So are you team, you're a goalie, are you team flip them the rest of the season and then whoever has the better, ending, play them in the playoffs? Or are you use Vitek, he's the guy, Schmid's backup? Or are you flip them, but then once you get to playoffs, use Vitek? Where are you on this?
So my thoughts are give them, alternate games with them until the playoffs and give Vitek the start in the playoffs until he shows that he can't handle the start in the playoffs, and then you have Schmid there to back him up. But you saw Vitek get a couple days rest and then come back and just go nuts against Carolina and shut them out. I think Vitek has needed that rest, and that's been good. Plus, I also think it's been good for him to sit on the bench and watch Schmid do well in front of him to kind of give him that kick in the butt to really put his game back together, because even though he's been doing well, his numbers have suffered over the last couple of weeks. That's without a doubt. And, I keep going back to that, being pulled against Colorado. Sometimes you just kind of need that reality check as a goaltender to be like, all right, I got to step this game up. And letting him have some rest going into the playoffs, I think, is great. And having Schmid there to be that backup, but also to push him, which I want to say, it seems like Schmid might push him more than Blackwood did when Blackwood was his backup. It just seems to be that combo works really well. The Vitek Schmid combo seems to work really, really well. And that's kind of the combo I hope they stick with going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. And like it's been mentioned 1,000 times, Blackwood might be coming back. We'll see what happens with his injury. But having enough goalies is better than having none like they did last year. So,
oh my gosh.
Vanacek is going to start for the New Jersey Devils tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Schmid will back him up. The defense pair, Smith is in for Ball, so you got Siegenthaler, Hamilton, Graves, Marino, Smith, Severson. We've seen it all year long. One thing that's of note is that Bratt and Boquist are back to being flipped. So Boquist started the last game with Meyer and Hughes, but then they put Bratt back with them, and that's going to be the way it goes going forward. I think Tatar, Hischier, Mercer hasn't been touched for a month, it seems like, maybe longer. But the big wrinkle in the lineup tonight is Nathan Bastian is out, and they are bringing in Curtis Lazar for his New Jersey Devils debut, playing on the fourth line with Miles Wood and Michael McLeod. What do you think?
I saw that lineup this morning, and I was like, ooh, this is going to be good. And then my next thought was, get the hamburgers ready to toss because he's in the lineup. Let's see that happen again here. Not that we're promoting throwing hamburgers on the ice, but if Lazar does something well, it could become the new octopus or the new whatever it is, catfish in Nashville. That could be the rat from Florida, whatever, what have you. But I'm excited to see him in the lineup. I'm excited to see what he can do for this team. Putting him with Wood and McLeod, that's a line I'm looking forward to watch tonight, because I want to see how he plays with those two players, and I want to see what he can do on the ice for the Devils too. But you're right, that Tatar, Hischier, Mercer line seems to just be that line that's been the constant. Bratt and Boquist seems like that they can be flipped either way. But again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I feel like it doesn't matter what line you're on with this Devils team, because we've got so much depth in all four lines that, aside from that fourth line, which has been pretty constant throughout the season, lines 2 and 3, I think, are just signified by a number, not for any type of reason other than that. And they're, all those players are, that you're bumping back and forth are you can flip them easily, no problem, and they'll step in and do what they got to do.
Do you see Peyton on the screen flashing all that pizza? It's making me hungry. She's trying to get us to notice. She's trying to get us to notice that she's got that delicious looking pizza. And that's one thing I didn't eat any of the food in my short stay at American Whiskey. It makes me kind of hungry seeing that pizza though. So next time I'm there, I will make sure I get some of the fine dining that they offer there. But yeah, I agree with you. When you put together a lineup like this and you get Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier as the top two centers, I think you were on the episode I talked about this. Only Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby have been more productive as a 1-2 punch this season. And I did say Hischier's been a touch better than Malkin, and Hughes has been a touch better than Crosby, although lately Crosby passed him in points because he's been on fire lately. He was the first or second star of the week last week. It's one of those things. That's how you build your team. It's from the goaltender out. Devils fans know that better than anyone.
Yeah.
But, if you have that 1-2 punch, it's really hard to beat you, and they're fast and they're tenacious. And so you had a guy like Curtis Lazar, who is kind of like a fourth line, much less productive version of that. I think it could do good things for their bottom six, excuse me.
Yeah, I think so as well, and he's going to give a bit of a net from presence too, with his size and his just. Well, I think it was the Canadiens game where they interviewed him in between periods after he got to take the warm-ups, and it's just, aside from his size, his attitude is right. Like, he was just so excited to be part of the Devils. He was excited to be able to finally get into the lineup, and his attitude just seemed to be absolutely right as far as wanting to be with this team and wanting to do something and having the chance to go to the playoffs. So that's another positive for Lazar. It's just he wants to be here, he wants to play here, and he wants to make a difference on this team going forward with the playoffs, which is what we're loving to hear right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the magic number is 10. I know people don't want to be talking about that, but I want to be talking about it, so that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. Now we got more good-looking food. Oh, he's dummying some of the pizza. Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
It is good pizza. It is good pizza. I've had it.
Is it homemade pizza? Do they make it there?
Yeah, they've got an oven in the back there. They've got one of those brick-fired or wood-fired, whatever ovens in the back.
Yeah,
there.
it's actually a brick oven.
Boom. There you go. Yeah. Sam knows.
I did not know that. That whole time I was there, Sam, and all we did was do 2 shows
and not
order any pizza. Oh, yeah.
And you're a foodie.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I figured you would have. I figured you would have got food there.
Yeah, no, I probably had I'm not exaggerating. 25 to 30 slices of pizza when I was in New York
And there
and
goes
slash
Peyton with
New
the
Jersey.
pizza.
Yeah, just right in my face, Peyton. Like, why do you got to eat all that pizza right in my face? That is just nasty, nasty behavior. Yeah. So really quick before we get into our last couple topics here, I want everyone to go into the YouTube chat right now. I'm talking right now, not later, right now, and let me know your predictions for tonight's game. I want to read off a couple on air, and we'll get to that. And Shorts Guy will become 0 in about 10, and I'll continue
Yeah,
my
whatever it
1 for
is.
58 streak or whatever it is. So put your predictions in the chat. Ramona Rice is always the one I look forward to the most. They seem to
Yeah,
be the closest
she seems to
always.
be on point.
Almost always. Almost always. No pun intended. Point playing for the Lightning tonight. Um, yeah, so Lazar joining the lineup. You got Holla, Heischer, um, Lazar, and then who's the other? Oh, McLeod. All four of
Yep.
them are like top tier face-off guys. You're up a goal late, and the other team pulls their netminder for the extra attacker. Vasilevsky's on the bench, and the Lightning have Point, Kucherov, whoever the H on the ice trying to tie it up. You can throw out anyone there. And
Yeah.
let's say they ice it or they don't ice it and they make a change. You got two other guys who could come on. You could have two top face-off guys come on the ice at any time. If you're trying to get that extra goal, let's say you're down 3-2 to the Lightning and you're trying to get that extra goal. Lazar can come out, win a face-off, then go straight to the bench for use. There are all sorts of ways that they can go about this, and I just think it adds so many good variables to this team, and I know you're right there with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, just if you watch any of the overtime, McLeod takes the majority of the faceoffs. He takes the faceoff, he gets off the ice. That's his job in overtime, which is, that just shows how much faith they have in him winning every single faceoff he goes into. And he's one of the top faceoff guys in the league. You know, who would have thought our fourth line center, Mikey McLeod, is one of the top faceoff guys in the league? Like, holy hell! So that's that. But again, you're right. Just down the line, we've got great faceoff guys, and we've got some good backups if you're getting tossed. So that's we're really a full. I can't think of the word here. We're just a full team right here.
Fully
We've
loaded,
got
like
it
they have everything they
fully
need.
loaded.
They got it all.
They've got, yeah, exactly. There's a word I'm searching for. I just can't think of it right now because I'm fried from doing nothing, I guess.
Yeah. I totally understand what you mean though. What would you add? Like maybe a more stable goal, like one that you trust in the long term more often. I mean, I don't even know if I'm cool with Vanacek and Schmid. Luke Hughes and Nemec in their prime being better than Smith/Ball, maybe, right? I guess.
Yeah. Maybe the only thing I would potentially add, maybe a little bit depth at defense, but if let's take Tampa for example. I mean, they have not played well, and neither has Vasilevsky for a little while. So it just you go through these stretches as players. Very rarely do you have a very start to finish season where you're just on fire the entire season. Sans Connor McDavid. He's like the only one that's constantly doing everything he needs to do. But aside from that, every player. I mean, we've seen Jack. Jack was missing in a couple games this season. Vitek had a little bit of a down streak. It's what you go through as a player. Yeah, I know these guys are professionals, but I have full faith in Vitek, and I also have faith in Schmid to be that good, capable backup. And then if neither of those two work, we've got Blackwood that can step in. Just a little bit of depth at D. That's about all that I would add.
100%. And yesterday I was waiting for Team USA in baseball to play Team Canada in the big game, and I'm watching Toronto play Buffalo. The Leafs got out to a 2-0 lead relatively early in the second period, and I was like, okay, they're going to run away with this thing now. Craig Anderson's in net. Buffalo had a nice season, but this is where the Leafs put the nail in the coffin on their season. Nope. Buffalo came all the way back. Two young players. It was Jack Quinn and Dylan Cousins getting the game tied. Two guys they drafted in the top 10 in the last couple of years. Very similar to what the Devils are doing. They don't have anyone quite as high end as Jack Hughes up front, but they're close. Dylan Cousins and Heischer are very similar. And I was like, okay, this is the NHL. You know, the Devils, they lost to the Leafs, and everyone was acting like the sky was falling because Jack only had 1 point and Vanacek wasn't. I mean, look, Buffalo did it to the Leafs. Teams win, teams lose. The Devils are not going to win out, and you know,
No,
it's how it is.
That's a great parody of the NHL, is that literally on any night, any given team can win. And that makes the league that much more exciting, because even though there are games that, you know, like let's say against the Canadiens, the Devils were expected to win, but the Canadiens still gave the Devils a hell of a game. It wasn't like it was a walkover by the Devils, and that's really the great thing. I mean, look, you know, we've talked about Arizona. They've beaten Boston and Vegas in their little home barn over there in Arizona. So it doesn't matter who you are in this league. You can lose any game at any night.
Literally any game. Like, you know the term "you ain't blank." That's every team in the league sometimes. And the Devils almost lost to Arizona. So really quick before we get into predictions, you were hyping up that jersey. Lay it on me. Let me see it. Looking good. Looking good. Talk about it.
I just got this today. My All-Star jersey, Jack Hughes. This is the first player jersey I've actually purchased in a while. I think the last time. Thanks, Sam, with the full screen. I'll try to bring this up. The colors pop in person so much better than I thought they would. So it was well worth the purchase. The teal and pink trim are awesome.
Turn around.
Oh, now I got to get up.
Yeah, turn around.
Forcing me to get up. All right,
Yeah.
Hold on. Here we go.
I do like it.
Jack Hughes. I don't know if you can see it. I can't see the camera, but Jack Hughes on the back. It was well worth the purchase. I'm very happy with it. But yeah, I think the last time I got a player put on the back of a jersey that wasn't me was Cam Jansen.
What a name. What a name to drop. You just get the fighter. Cam Jansen.
Friend of the podcast, Cam Jansen. We were all about Cam Jansen when he was here. We actually went and got his autograph and took a picture with him when he came into town with St. Louis a couple years ago. And then we got yelled at by John Davidson.
That's outstanding. I loved Cam Jansen too. Like that was fun. That was a fun time. So that's hilarious though. You get a Hughes jersey first. Cam Jansen and Jack Hughes. You know, one of those things is not like the
level.
other. Yeah. Yeah. In terms of fan favorite, maybe. In terms of bringing people out of their seat, you know, as many times as each of them did. But
Cam was
let's
good
get
at
to
that.
predictions. He sure was. Predictions. Matthias, 4-1 Devils. Geeky Gamer Family, 5-2 New Jersey wins. And 2 Skydancer, 4-2 Devils. Jonathan says 6-2 Devils. Bachagaloop says 4-1 Devils. RME says 4-2 Devils for him and 5-3 Devils for his wifey. Chris, 3-2 Devils. Cornhole, 4-1 Devils. Dennis, 5-4 Devils. Timo time twice he wants to add in, as does Dennis. Ramona Rice, 4-3 Devils. Robert Larson, 4-1 Devils. Select the says 4-2 Devils. Joseph, 4-2 Devils. Got a lot of 4-2 Devils. Oh, my goodness, 4-2 Devils. Lots of 4-2 Devils. Nobody picked the Lightning. We've had some skeptics in the chat this season, so it's not like it's crazy. So
there were
I see Sam.
There were a lot for that Vegas game. The Vegas game, there were a lot of skeptics.
Yeah, 100%.
If I remember
100%.
correctly.
And, you know, they ended up losing. There's a shootout.
Yeah.
But, you know, it happens. 14-1-1. Or, no, 14-0-2 against the Pacific Division. But before I get to my prediction, Shorts Guy, I noticed that one Sam Wu has joined us in time to give his prediction.
I actually didn't realize that I had a 4-shot. So the whole time, like, I could have been on with you guys.
You could have been.
You don't even need to play the sound. I could do
it. Actually, I probably have that soundbite somewhere.
I'm sure you do. We used to have all kinds of sound bites, but we don't use them anymore.
The nice thing about
go ahead.
The nice thing about being able to recreate it yourself is just like when your brain thinks of it, boom, it's in the microphone. Sam, we need your prediction.
My prediction: 5-2 Devils.
Wow,
I like
That's bold. I don't think Schwim would like that one. You know, I should get. You know what? While we're doing this, I'm gonna see if I can get Schwim's prediction because it'll be fun. All All right, I'll give my prediction. I'm going to go a tight one, 3-2 Devils for tonight's game.
3-2 Devils. 3-2 Devils. That's interesting. I don't know which kind of way to veer here. I'm going to agree with most of the people in the chat. I'm going to take the generic answer and say 4-2 Devils. They're up 3-2 and then toss in an empty netter. Timo Meier for 2. I'm with, I think it was Dennis that said Timo for 2 tonight. Let's get that done tonight. You know, that's what I'm rooting for.
Okay. I've got to text out to Schwim to see if he'll give a prediction
Who's in
for
net?
tonight.
It is Vitek Vanacek in net.
Ah.
Vitek.
And Schwim of the Hockey on Tap podcast gives a prediction of 4-3 Tampa in overtime. Now, he is a misguided Tampa fan, so that's why he's going to predict Tampa. But
You know what?
that's
A
Schwim's
little
prediction.
bit. If anybody wants to know who Schwim is from Hockey on Tap. Plus, we played hockey with them, Shorts Guy and I, for many years.
Yep.
And how I met
Still
Schwim,
do, actually.
How I met Schwim was he was accused of stealing a Sony Wega TV in high school, and allegedly he put it in his Saturn, a 40-inch Sony Wega TV of 20 years ago, one of those old tube TVs,
Which would have been impossible.
Yeah.
So hold on, Schwim just gave a follow up. So his prediction 4-3 Tampa in overtime, and then quote from Schwim followed by me getting in someone's face.
That's funny.
Oh, and he's got good seats tonight. He's down by the Devils' wives and girlfriends down there in the lower level.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Wow.
That's cool.
Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear a good story that I heard before we go?
Yes.
Because you were talking about. So I don't know how true this is, but this is based on somebody in the insurance industry. That the players have wives and girlfriends, but the exes they put them in certain places in the arena where there's a higher percentage of where the puck can actually hit them. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what somebody told me. And this is somebody in the insurance industry that knows where the I guess they have like percentages of where you can get hit for liability purposes. So that's what I was told.
Maybe that is true.
Okay.
I mean, I believe the statistic thing. There's definitely a statistic like what part of the crowd is most likely to get taken out by. I was at the Chicago Wolves versus Iowa Wild game a couple weeks ago, and the puck went over the net, and this lady got hit right in the dome, right on the forehead. And then I saw her in the concourse when I was getting some nachos in between the first and second period. It looked like a puck was trying to escape from her head. Like, that's how big the welt was. So I actually wouldn't all that surprise me very much.
You know what? If I were the Devils, I would sell advertising in those sections for law firms.
1-800 got you covered.
The Yankowitz law firm. I see them every morning when I'm watching the news.
The ambulance, sponsored by the Ambulance Chasers. In section In section 11, the Ambulance Chasers.
They could just name the sections in the high probability areas after the law firms for the sponsorship.
Yeah, but
The
if
such and
anybody in
such
the
law
insurance
firm.
industry can actually confirm that, that'd be very helpful. I'm actually dying to know.
That's funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this was a great show. Sam, I'm happy
Yes,
you
it
popped in
was.
at the end, and we'll let you close it out since you missed the whole beginning.
Oh, well, speaking of buttons,
Woo!
I got my buttons here. Yeah. I want to thank all those tuning in. Game Day Live. We got Devils After Dark after the game. Let's see here. I'm not pushing the right buttons here. I'm supposed to cue in the music. Dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes. Game's about to start. Thank you, Shorts Guy. Thank you, Vinnie. Thank you, all those in the YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. We'll see you after the game for Devils After Dark. Till next time, let's go Devils.